Yeah, hi. So, welcome to Sridhar's newsletter and our show Minimalist Techie on Apple Podcast and Spotify, wherever you listen to, or you can just log into my website, sridharkarkipati.substack.com, and you can just listen to current podcast or you can listen to any of the prior. So, basically, this is the audio recording of the couple of articles and the blogs or my viewpoint on couple of the topics which basically I read through or go throughout my week. So you can look into the newsletter if you're interested, or if not, you can always listen to the audio on the go. All right, so we'll get started quick. So, a very first topic would be basically the follow up from the last week's uh, part. Basically, thank you first of all. I see that multiple people have downloaded the episode, and thanks for so many visitors. But can I request you to please subscribe? So because that will actually help to see identify this particular podcast in the channels, multiple channels can reach to the multiple audiences as well. So yeah, I see that you many people are reaching to the site, and episodes is being downloaded more than 100 times. So I do recommend please subscribe so that you'll, because if I sometimes I don't post it in somewhere on the social media, so that you can directly get it on your email, or you can subscribe to our show on Apple Podcast or Spotify. Thank you. So yeah, first topic is Facebook whistleblower Francis Hugan. So yeah, I'm releasing this little late. You guys already know. Basically, first week of October 2021, Francis Hugan has given a series of interviews. She is a former Facebook employee who has started or leaked the documents which majorly highlighted the negative impact of social media and Instagram in particular, which has been impacting one out of three teen girls in US and across the world. So with the information she shared public with the public, and the lawmakers should actually go deep and analyze the data points so the proper regulation can put in place. She coming into limelight will actually help other employees to come forward, and there is already in a second employee who have leaked additional documentation and taken this particular route to reach out and share this information with the wider public and the lawmakers. And so that's the reason I'm saying like she coming into the limelight will actually help other employees to come forward and share the dark secrets which are known already but hidden from the public eye and the lawmakers. So you can I'm leaving the link, the interview which she did in the 60 minutes interview, so you can click on that and go through that. There's a lengthy 2 hour session also there with entire what happened with the lawmakers the session. So entire thing has been there on YouTube as well, if you're really interested to go on. But at high level details which really shocked me out of it is the current website might be in Instagram or Facebook. The drug cartels and human trafficker use these platforms very openly. One of the most serious crimes which offends our entire generation and upcoming generation, kids and all that, kids and everyone, drug cartels and the human trafficker are actually using this platform very openly. Teen girls and teen boys, both for both mental health has been impacted. One out of three is really a scary number for the next generation, and it should be worry every one of us. That's the reason why I'm calling this particular stuff again in this particular podcast. It's very important so that we understand that, so we take a better decision for ourselves, what we consume on online and what how we can save kids online. So she's a former Facebook employee, basically, and she clearly mentioned that Facebook was deliberate in its efforts to keep people, including children, hooked to its service. That's the main intention of their entire Instagram, the photo app, right? So that the kids are keep on scrolling, clicking, going to that explore page, don't know what unrelated information. The whole intention doesn't matter which age group it is, but definitely in this case it's very, the study is clearly saying that the teenagers are a lot more impacted. So in more than 3 hours of testimony which she did with Senate subcommittee, Frances Hugan, she's the one who worked on Facebook's misinformation team for nearly 2 years until Somewhere in May, she said that she had to leave the company, and just before leaving the company, she started looking into all these issues, and she know that her team is getting dissolved. Her manager is resigning from Facebook as well, and taking indefinite leave or something like that. Then yeah, so then she decided to take this information, take all the legal help and all that, so that she can take the cover for leaking this information as well. So she said Facebook has purposely hidden this disturbing research about how teenagers felt worse about themselves after using its products, and how it was willing to use hateful content on its site to keep users coming back. That's the reason why you see that any n number of people on a ridiculous promoted ad or something. You see 125 600 comments, and someone has having so much of patience with them. Because the whole reason is, for them the intention is to make yourself stick to their apps. And it's really scary, someone is spending 4 to 5 hours on their mobile phone, and that's really impact their overall mental health, their day-to-day other activities, their career plans, their study plans, everything basically, right? So Facebook has repeatedly has been pushing back on the criticism, saying its research was taken out of context and misunderstood. They haven't anything released or mentioned, all simply saying that it was simply misunderstood. That's not how Facebook operates and all that. Even Mark Zuckerberg, who is a chief executive, he addressed the whistleblower leaks, uh, saying that they are not really true. He repeated that the claims that Facebook prioritizes engagement to pad its bottom line, including engagement of the harmful content. He said that news coverage had been misleading about company's motive, and the company's research had been taken out of the context. He said it was deeply illogical that the Facebook would prioritize harmful content over advertisers don't want to buy ads on a platform that amplifies hate and misinformation. So most of us just don't recognize the fall picture of the company that is being painted. Basically, that's what he has written to his. He has given a press release statement, and he also written a note to his employees, and later posted on his Facebook account as well. But no specific in detail what were her role, what were those documents, what were those research points were there. All they mentioned that they took out of context, but nothing specific information was being shared. But the senators did not provide. And also one more problem is in the lawmakers. Yeah, although it was titled as Save Kids Online, the senators didn't provide any clear path for addressing many problems raised by either by Ms. Hogan. There are dozens of bills which we already know on data privacy, changes to the speech laws have been halted in the Congress since pretty long. Ms. Hogan suggested that the legislation would actually force companies like Facebook to open their systems to the researchers to study the prevalence of a hate speech and the harmful content. See, everyone being in online, everyone have given up their privacy, and we can afford nothing less than the full transparency. If at all they are running the business out of your own profile. Facebook is currently continuing to make choices that currently, what are the choices it is making? It's simply going against the common good. Everyone knows multiple studies have been done. Just prior to this accusation, Facebook was almost ready to release the Instagram version for the kids, especially. And once this allegation came up, and there's another allegation going on Facebook right now, and they simply halted the release of their Instagram for kids. See, problem is it's not just one country and not just US. So what are they promoting, like this harmful, hyper engaging content is not just limited to United States. The Facebook engagement based ranking system is uh, literally dropping bombshells, ethnic violence in places like Ethiopia and African countries. Basically all both of these sessions 60 minutes, a lot of criticism was been done, And yeah, the biggest problem right now is no clear path has been there. But yeah, I would say this is a really in a starting point. But I really don't want these type of things to be and undergo under the carpet for us. So uh, this particular technologies, the big tech has raised so much, so big that if they cannot stop the misinformation, and in the time of COVID era as well, if some there is already so much misinformation about the vaccines. So it's pretty important that organization try to look into these algorithms, what they say, the working fine, look into even much more broader aspect, form more bigger misinformation research teams, and try to resolve this. So I hope this is the beginning point for all those laws, and so that none of us have to scare uh, about the data privacy being online, or how to keep kids especially safe in the online. Okay. So yeah, this is just a follow up. So you can just simply go through the short 60 minutes interview she has done. So that will give you a little more context if you're into it. So okay, moving on to the second topic, a big tech and their employees rally. Yeah. So as a reason, I'll tell you why I named like this. Apple employees have launched a campaign against their organization decision for return to office. Yeah. And the another big tech with Netflix, the Dave Chappelle's show, The Closer. The show has brought a group of Netflix employees calling themselves Team Trans, and they have scheduled a rally outside their office. See, I'm not against of any of this topic, but let me say this. Every time I read an article or view any news about the big tech and their employees submitting memos, forming groups, going into rallies, the very first thing comes to my mind is how the hell they are getting time in their 8 to 5 to spend this much amount of their energy on these things. One and being working remote, I hardly get up once, sometimes or twice in my 8-hour work routine. I'm sitting nearly 4 hours on my desk, back to back meetings, team calls, chats, working on my own deliverables. So seriously need to know how exactly their daily routine, job routine is. So I'm not against these asks at all. Mm, as coming to remote working, I'm all in for it. Organizations who have worked so well in last 18 months being remote, making a decision to call their employees back is ridiculous according to me. It's like treating in 2021 as well as same as thinking that we are in a 1950s factory era and expecting everyone to be in an office. Coming to any streaming giants, so giant shows which are hurtful, my view is there are so many options to stream. If you don't like it, then simply don't watch it. Move on, and there are infinite number of shows on the streaming platforms. Why would one spend their time knowing the content is not their likable content, and spend their time and get offended with the movie titles, get offended with the content, the show content and all that? Why to spend their time and their energy to talk how bad it is, or they got offended? Seriously, just switch the channel. So leaving this aside, let's talk the real issue here. See, it doesn't matter what the topic it is, there is a disconnect between employee and employer. So all this COVID time, many companies have internally and externally released to a press that they are spending good amount of employee well-being. If companies are really committed to employee well-being, then why this type of rallies are happening across many companies in the world? Problem is how every fairy tale is painted. However, the fairy tale is painted, actually it's always the numbers which the companies care about. Companies care about their shareholders, or company care about their clients. So all these things take very high priority over their own employees who can help them bidding their products. So this is where companies fails actually. The companies who center their communication with employees and around belongingness and the humanity. Basically, those are the companies who doesn't run into these issues. Yeah. So there's no point in organizations getting into all these issues and later on releasing some statement saying that this is my business. Go and deal with it. Feel free to walk out. Feel free to go to rallies. And after a week, again coming back and emotionalizing that, yeah, there is very less humanity in my post or in my press release. I'm really sorry if at all I attended you. So basically, there's no need of doing all this drama unless you really cannot communicate properly, keep your employees in loop. Yeah, your communication with your employees is not really around belongingness, that your employees should be, because yeah, they're working for you, your growth, right? So it's pretty important that the belongingness is always there from the both side of parties. Yeah, but this again, once again, not this is really ridiculous whenever I see all the big tech and employees rallies and blah blah blah. uh, for sure, it's a cultural change required, but even in, we see that these organizations are so big, and if the bigger organizations get loose of their own employee engagement, it would be pretty hard for for anyone to run such a big techs. Moving on to the third topic, dying to lead. Yeah, so reaching top in career impacts your health. So the topic of burnout is the most trending topic since we all began working remote since last 18 months. Many of us have played multiple roles at home while working for the role which pays your salary. People have gone way beyond pushing the boundaries to meet their daily work goal, their sprint goals, their monthly releases, and whatnot. So it doesn't matter if you're a CEO or a subordinate employee, every one of us have faced burnout, or few are actually wearing burnout as an achievement shield. If this is you who is dying to work or dying to lead or dying to reach top in your career, then do read below study published in Harvard Business School this week. I'm leaving the link from Harvard Business School, which talks, which actually written a complete detailed review, and they have published their findings and also compared what were the prior findings and what is happening in the current and what would be the next steps for them. The study shows that the stress caused by chasing success at work can shorten one's personal life. It also impacts every employee at a lower level, as employee performance evaluated in 360 reviews, quarterly reviews, semi annual reviews, yearly reviews, or even in the name of no annual reviews, leadership team always look at their workers with an eye of an productivity. So well-being of employee and employer both depends upon firm everyday performance. So researchers in both prior studies in prior studies attributed the shorter life expectancy among lower level civil servants who tended to die at younger age than their bosses to the psychological stresses of working in a subordinate positions. Recently, this study has flipped it, saying that it turns out that the top managers might face even more higher health problems. Basically, no one is saying that someone working in a coal mine, a worker. No, we are not really getting into that discussion. Basically, this is more. Uh, the research is more looking into high performing like GE, those type of organizations. They looked into detailed history about their managers, their subordinates, and all that. And this research is published. So, recent studies of the business environments have found that executive positions take toll on health of the top managers, often causing cardiovascular and the immune system illness. Higher ranked employees were more susceptible to the shorter lifespan. So that's a key takeaway from that article. In the workplace, it is very important, at least for me in all these cases, what I see is the reason why people get burned out. One of the major reason is they don't know how to say no. Even I'm also part of it. Even sometimes I don't know how to say a no. But yeah, as saying no is pretty important, as you should be very clear about your day-to-day routine and your responsibilities. Saying no to additional responsibilities and additional remuneration will help in avoiding any burnout. To say it simple, money can't buy health and a loving family. So those are the three small topics what we are covering this week. And thanks for listening to our podcast. And please do like and share and subscribe wherever you listen to. And thank you once again. Have a good week ahead.